Well, welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. That last session I had about 2 hours ago, holy buckets, did we have some interesting role play in that session. It was so good. For a moment there, I wasn't sure if it was role play, and then I had to remember who was playing. I was like, oh yeah, they're role playing. It's okay. They don't actually hate each other right now. I'm okay. We've gone over this before. Oh my goodness.
Did they blow up a big chunk of their city or anything like that?
Oh, that's right. Technically, Foreign is still in the corner. We gotta keep him under control. He keeps blowing shit up.
Kill any demigods, With the party over murder of demigods, or
Well, welcome back, everybody. Where we last, what would really help when I do the recap?
Get your notes up.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it would really help. It would really help a lot. So, with the funeral pyre resolved, the team kind of went about.
Resolved was a really nice way to say that.
Yeah. There was a lot going on down there. The funeral pyre was a place that originally the group, three of the members of the group, attempted to ambush whoever was responsible for this Seraphis powder and the origin of its ingredients. Unfortunately, somebody was also coming down there, lying in wait for either the purpose of tracking the three members of the team or some other possible reason. And a small battle ensued, causing Foreign to fall unconscious and Karina to unfortunately perish in the combat. A Traumaton, using some great feat and ability, raged, picked up both of the bodies and scaled up the side of the spire in hopes of finding help. While at the same time, Melody and Eritrea were coming back from each individual encounter that they had, one in the garden area of the Dawnfather's temple. Melody coming back from having a conversation with her sister and learning a little bit more about the House Treshy. It was then as they were taking the gondola ride back over to the Lantern Spire, back over to the Lantern Spire, they looked back to see a Traumaton scaling the side of the spire to come back up to the top of the core spire. Here they quickly got back on the gondola, made their way back over, brought and aided in a Traumaton, bringing the two bodies back up. Stabilizing Forn, unfortunately, Karina was too far gone. They immediately rushed to the Dawnfather Temple, seeking help and guidance there, and managed to bring Karina back. After that, the team kind of slowed down a bit, recovered a bit, got things under control, and spent the next morning kind of making some discoveries. One particularly difficult discovery that they had come across was the fact that clearly Ember Brew had suffered some kind of either death, accident, we're not entirely sure, as his shop was completely destroyed. It was surrounded by wardens who were taking the time to try to discover and understand what was going on. So the team basically rallied, and Eritrea and a Traumaton decided to figure out what had happened to Ember Brew, while Foreign, Melody, and Karina, or was it just Foreign and Melody? It might have just been Foreign and Melody. All three. Yeah, Karina went as well. Yeah. Once Karina was mostly recovered, had headed down to the Fate Bridge Walk and the marketplace of the Core Spire to find some new digs, to find a new location upon which they could establish a shop and a kind of headquarters. Here they came across a bullywog that went by the name of Grung, and they had a conversation and decided to rent the place that was next door to Grung's shop. Where we last left off, however, Traumaton and Eritrea are now approaching the basement. Automaton, as Air Trio's in front of you, and you can hear the crowds outside. You can hear the warden who's patiently waiting for you guys to kind of finish what you're doing. But as you enter into the secret basement stairwell that takes you down into Ember Brew's basement, once down inside, it's almost as if somebody, or maybe Ember Brew was down here, and looking around, the place looks untouched. There's a half-eaten meal on a table. There's an open bottle of wine on the little sidebar. You can see open crates. You could see half-counted coins on a table. Almost like whoever was down here was like caught literally in the middle of something. Give Automaton and Eritro, give me perception checks as you begin to glance around the room.
The nat 20
that is
for 23.
Nice. What'd you get, Trauma?
11.
11? Okay. There is Eritrea. There's a sense that there might still someone is still here. You don't know why. You get the feeling that you and Trauma are being watched.
Trauma. Got a bad feeling that someone's hiding out down here.
Can I kind of scan the room and just see if anything kind of ticks off my bounty hunter senses, like just something that might have a peephole or something in it? Investigation.
I mean, you can give me a more investigative check as you kind of like purposely look through the room with a little bit more serious intent.
All right. That is a crit fail.
Yeah, like Automaton starts kind of moving through the empty space, kind of runs into the occasional chair or bumps into a crate. Eritrea, there is a celestial creature in this space, and it's not you. You kind of look up in the beams of the floor from the above side of the tavern, and then as quickly as you feel it, it's just as quickly gone.
And that's the same being that I sensed was watching us? Or do I sense like there's an actual physical person hiding somewhere in this room too?
No, that felt like that's what had eyes on you. There was something with the celestial presence was here. You felt it watching you in a trauma, and then you just sensed it just like disappear as quickly as you felt it.
Can I do like an arcana? Just like, can I determine if it was like kind of an evil nature or of some sort of nature that I recognize? Would that be arcana?
You can give me an insight.
Insight? Okay. It'd be a 23 again.
Woo! Jeez. Spot on. As you're looking around and you're thinking about this feeling, it felt like somebody was projecting themselves via the celestial plane. Somebody was here, but not really here. They were either spying on something, they were checking in on something. This was somebody that was, for all intents and purposes, probably using astral projection, but not allowing their form to be seen.
Okay. Drama. Whatever was here is gone. And is the warden with us?
No, you left him up
Okay.
on the tavern. You're supposed to find your stuff and collect it.
Yeah. So, Drama, I think I would like to search through this room, any cabinets. There's clearly, in my opinion, there's something of great importance in here that someone is trying to look out for.
Charlie just kind of looks over and nods at him, just kind of like, okay, I'm a wrecking ball. I'll go through and smash up anything you need me to.
Both of you give me investigation again, if you would, please.
Oh, that 20 for a 19.
What?
I bought some new weighted dice, by the way. Just so
Yeah, Melody, you might want to check and make sure he didn't steal your dice.
More dice, give me a sec.
But now look what happens if we couldn't get into combat tonight.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's gonna be a problem.
Not great. That is a 4.
A 4. While Trauma's struggling to not destroy things he's searching. Like, you watch as he picks up a wooden box with his metallic flailed arms, and the box just like comes apart, and stored crockery and other things just kind of shatter onto the floor. You hear from upstairs, outside the kitchen, "Everything okay in there? You finding what you need?"
It's a bit of a mess down here. I apologize. I'm just trying to find my locker.
Well, don't take too much longer. Just hurry, please.
Of course. Of course.
However, as a Traumaton creates that bit of a mess, that's where you see the first edge of it. You didn't notice it before, but somebody has written something into the wooden basement floor. You begin to move furniture, you begin to move other things, and you are now looking at a 30-foot radius magic circle that has been very carefully and very kind of minimally drawn into the wood of the floor. It is made up of celestial arcane runes. Somebody summoned something from the celestial plane.
I point this out to Trauma. Here's someone who had a little handiwork here. Again, can I do another investigation to try to?
In this case, you could do Arcana as you examine the circle. Yeah.
There goes my luck. 8.
8. While you recognize that it's written in Celestial, you don't recognize what the symbols mean or what the writing means. You just know that the form of language or the form of representation is Celestial. But other than that, you have no idea what this circle means, except it appears to be a summoning circle. It would have taken a great deal of skill and time to do this. It's also possible that maybe Ember Brew had put this here in secret as a means of protection or escape.
Don't worry, Ryan. It's always the lore rolls that we fail on.
Yeah, right.
All of our other rolls will be great, and then we get to like lore points, and we'll start rolling like shit.
Good.
I really want to tell you about this big cool thing.
I feel
just
much
need to roll
better.
higher than a 5. Higher than a 5.
Um,
Oh,
Can I take out like a quill and parchment and kind of I want to make a little drawing of what
Yeah.
this is so I can remember.
Yeah,
this.
give me a performance check as you spend some time crafting an image of it.
Performance. That's a 9.
Okay. As you
We're
and
trying
Trauma are in the midst of doing that, the three of you are back at Grung's place in the midst of the busy city market. You had just confirmed and been given the keys to the next door building. It's the middle of the morning. You're in the faded walkway bridge area of the market, and you are now in possession of a 3-story tenement and shop as well.
We have a lot to do on this building. The curtains are going to have to go immediately. I have shopping to do. This place is going to be beautiful, but it needs a lot of work.
Well, I'm out 500 gold, and we still owe him 500 gold.
I need to unload this diamond. I feel like we could use the money.
well, I unloaded my diamond to bring our friend back, so unfortunately, I don't have much left for that one.
Well,
I just feel like
I think-
Karina's side-eyeing porn right now, just like,
Well, it wasn't out of any anger or anything. Just it's expensive.
no, thanks. I will pay you back eventually. Well, I
Maybe
think
just don't kill me. That'd be even. That'd be fair.
no intentions to do so, I promise. Not all of us changelings are, how do you say, wicked. Just most of us.
Well, what makes you think all changelings are wicked? I mean, I've spent a lot of my life in the Fae, and I can tell you, wicked, deceptive, sneaky. What are other words I could use to describe the tricky nature of anything out of the Fae? It's not, it's part of the nature of the place. So,
wicked sounds about right to me. Anyway, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go be depressed in my new room.
which is
It
just
thinks
basically
again.
a wooden chair in an empty room.
She's gonna go sit there in the dark and think.
Is there a room that is largest or like has a window or something?
So there's 5 rooms on the second floor.
Mhm.
All the big open common space is up on the 3rd floor
Mhm.
that has the veranda that overlooks down into the marketplace. The rooms are all roughly the same size. And there's maybe about 5 feet of space between the buildings. So all the rooms have at least one singular window.
Oh,
Um,
fabulous.
But I would say the room on the alley side probably is slightly bigger because of its shape, where the other 4, which are, 2 on the right, 2 on the left, are a little bit more traditionally like boxy like shaped.
Hmm.
And, Karina goes into one of those rooms, the door falls off the hinge, so it's kind of like awkward and askew, and she's just like sitting in this lonely little wooden chair with cobwebs hanging, and you could already hear, because you guys are on the 2nd floor currently, like examining the rooms, you can hear Grung has already kind of like gotten some people into the downstairs to start emptying out the inventory out of there for his own shop to kind of help get it cleaned up. so you could hear a little bit of activity going on the first floor. But you walk towards the back room, Melody, and it feels like the bigger of the 5 rooms, slightly, just because it's more illusionary because of its shape. You know how when something's rectangular, you get the illusion it's bigger, when really it's the same square footage as the other 4 rooms.
But the appearance is important.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The melody appearance is very important. There's a window you could see down into the back alleys that make up the junctions of all the different buildings against the spire, and you can see the wall of the spire, crawling up to the next level. And you can see some people back there, and the city's pretty lively right now.
I'm going to start using thaumaturgy to test wall paint colors in my room.
Priorities.
Blue! Great! or prestidigitation.
Oh,
Thaumaturgy.
that would be a real good thing to have. Thaumaturgy is like...
I think
Oh,
that's
I can actually only do sounds. Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
All right. Never mind.
Never mind. I still love the idea that, in fact, you're beginning to notice
colors at the wall.
Yeah. Why isn't that working? It's supposed to work. I mean, looking at the room, foreign wild melodies like in the back room. Karina's kind of off, kind of being a little bit mopey in the other room. What's foreign doing with their time?
I'm actually going to go down, and while they're kind of clearing out down there, I'll see if I can negotiate some trinkets and doodads that may be old or worn out, or some tools that might be spares or extras or something. If he wants to save a little trouble for moving these things out of here, I don't mind to take some of this off your hands, and any money that I make out of here, at least for right now, is going to go straight back into your pockets.
As you're downstairs, you don't see any sign of Grung. You see 4 kind of younger looking individuals. A couple of them very much human looking, very Marquesian. And 2 of the other one's Tabaxi, and the other one is a lizard folk. The lizard folk seems to be wearing like a guild house attire that you don't recognize. So maybe it's a local guild or minor guild that doesn't necessarily compete with the other major households or major guilds. But he's wearing like a carpenter's leather vest, like leather apron. He's got rolled up tunic pants and a rolled up tunic shirt underneath. And his lizard folk skin is very much like a purple, pink, and greenish yellow. His eyes are almost like a bright blue. And he seems to be directing the other 3 what to take. Give me a persuasion check as you kind of approach him.
Certainly. That's a 21.
Oh,
I got new skills as a Fey Wanderer. I'm charming now, apparently.
You keep on working. Who are you? What are you doing in Grung's place? Oh, you're the ones he rented to.
Actually, I believe he's selling it to us, but I do appreciate your support in clearing out some of these items.
Oh, yes, I work for Grung. My name is Saka. Good to meet you.
Saka, huh? Well,
Yes.
Saka, if I may, I see that you're decked out as somewhat of a craftsman yourself, and I wonder if there may be some extra tools lying around here that our friend Grung may not miss, things that he's not going to be using, because I do see he has a wonderful shop over there, but I don't see that he makes much more than that kind of pottery and vase things, and I'm a bit more handy, I like metal tools and some things for working on tinkering and other things like that, as well as some carpentry.
Saka kind of looks at you and just kind of, all the inventory is accounted for, unfortunately. I, however, am in possession of supplies you might require or need. What kind of shop are you and your friends trying to set up here?
Frankly, it's a kind of a mix of all kinds of things, but I was thinking we could perhaps start it out as some kind of a pawnbroker. You know, we could sell the items that we
Great
select on our
idea. You only
travels.
have to compete with about 85 other shops. You could walk into their shop and simply copy what they do.
Yeah, but that seems like cheating. We'd like to have some more unique
Are you
items
not
and some
aware
things
of
I perhaps
the-
build myself.
Are you not aware of the concept of sarcasm? So I will be more blunt, more literal with you. That is a stupid idea, just so you know.
Fair. Point taken. Well, what would you have in mind, Mr. Saka, if this was to be your space?
Oh, I would not. No, I'm a carpenter by trade. I build furniture and things of wood and other crafts, statuary and things, idols for the altars for those that need them.
How about
Know what you should do? I don't know enough about you to be able to give you such guidance.
fair? But you did have enough to make a decision about our selection of wares. So I thought
yes,
perhaps you were wise enough to be able to tell me exactly what we ought to do then. It's funny how you come across so many people that are willing to tell you your idea is stupid, but not willing to come up with an idea that's better.
Why should I come up with a money-making idea that I don't take part in? That seems
Who
strange.
said you weren't going to take part? I mean,
Oh, well, now you speak more my language. Well, considering the venue and its location, I would imagine that this is a place that would do well for purposes of... You've got the fated bridge and the access to the gondolas not far from here. You have many curio shops and tinkerer shops. You're near the open market. The one thing that is not down here in great numeration are magic shops and eateries. If you want to eat, you must go up to where the core spire and where the main levels are to take part in most of the food. You may even find yourself having to go all the way over to the Airy Spire. So food does well here. A good investment in magical items for sale. There has not been a glorious Gilmore's in Jrusar for many decades, and we don't expect one anytime soon. You have to travel to Ankarel to find good magic in this wonderful city. And he smiles an alligator smile of teeth and just, is that the kind of support you'll require of your gentle kind?
I pull out a couple of gold coins. That is pretty good support. I do appreciate it, and I'll drop one and kind of hold the other one back.
Yes.
I was curious about some tools.
What kind of tools do you seek?
As I said, I've got some basic tinker's kits, and I kind of pull open my coat. I keep all my junk in my coat, like those snake oil salesmen sometimes. Like one side's all braided hair, the other side is
could have saved yourself the cost of tax and just sold from your coat, but that's fine. I
can't sleep in my coat, unfortunately.
Well,
my companions
you lie down on the ground and you pull the coat over you and you go to sleep.
My companions can't sleep in my coat.
Oh,
Apologies
yes.
for the lack of clarity.
Grung mentioned you had companions.
Yeah, there's a broody one upstairs right now. She requested.
Oh, broody, laying eggs is important. I understand.
Sure, odd fella. But there's also my not centaur. I'm sorry, wrong race. My satyr friend upstairs, Wells.
Your friend is
she's
sad.
very interested.
You have a broody and a sad friend. That's strange to me.
I attract that kind of person. They're trying to color up their rooms, and I don't know if you might have some tools that you might be obliged to lend or dispose of into our care?
You and your friends are welcome to come down to my shop at the end of the Fates Walk Bridge. It's called Gable's Corner. You can't miss it. Lots of wooden and furniture and other things of carpentry in front of it. The Gable's Corner has other similar home craft shops like mine that may be able to provide things with you. They even have second-hand shops there too for people who didn't quite make it here and their stuff ends up on the corner. That's why we call it Gable's Corner, to be honest with you.
Sounds like you had quite the business plan, opening a carpentry shop around a bunch of carpentry shops.
No, I'm the only one.
Oh, okay.
The others near me sell different things. We band together to kind of keep costs down.
Is that your guild symbol there on your clothing?
Yes, the hammer and the pliers. It's not much of a guild. It's more of an excuse to really do cool shit with my carving tools.
Cool shit like what?
You make carvings and sell them. We get a lot of tourists here from the Ares Spire. And often they come over after a long journey and they're too lazy to see the rest of the city. So they come here and we sell them authentic things. It's quite fun.
I understand. I think I follow. Well, I do believe I'll send my friends your way. They're very particular in the finery that they like to deck themselves out in. So,
Oh, well, in that case, I don't know if what I have will appeal to them, but they're more than welcome to come look.
well, they did mention they spent some time with some fella named Fabian. I'm not sure. I didn't go. I'm not. That's clearly not my thing.
Fabians of the silver. You know what? I've got to get back to work. You enjoy the rest of your day. Gable's Corner right down the way there.
We're sure going to roll an insight check on that.
Good day. And he just kind of turns and walks back over to the others as they take the last of the inventory out of the downstairs.
Yeah, I'd like to roll an insight check whether that was like intimidated for, ooh, that was not bad. That's a 19.
It felt very awkward, like you would if you mentioned an ex's name.
Oh.
Got it. Well, now we know somebody to bring up to our friend Fabian. Ladies, if you're what's the word? Rested, perhaps. We might ought to communicate with our other friends that we have a place of respite as well. We might need to decorate this facility.
Tell them if they see a place on the way to buy pillows that they should do it. But actually, no, they're not going to know what colors to get. Never mind.
I'll just give them the address if that's okay.
That's fine.
Korean, while you're listening to these two kind of, one's downstairs, one's coming from the back room, you feel something familiar kind of pressing up against your foot and ankle, and you look down to see a rat. It's slightly decayed. Its face is a little bit contorted and twisted. It's got patches of fur missing. Hey, mistress. Oh, you're back. Hello. Good to see you.
Good to see you, friend.
Yeah, I was doing my job. Yeah. And then I stopped existing. I got a little worried. I couldn't exist at all. And then suddenly I can exist again. Did you die?
In a manner of speaking.
We mean in a manner of speaking. Death is death, isn't it?
In a manner is truth, yes.
Yeah.
If you insist on telling the truth as it is, I guess you could say I died.
Oh, okay. Just checking. You got a skitters up on your lap.
Wait.
Yes. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just getting up in your lap.
Oh, Please don't.
Oh, okay. Get her back down to your feet. It's better. Look at you with that creepy face.
Kind of. So before you disappeared, you were in the tower, lying on the changeling that pretends to be the head of the House of Lumos.
Oh, well, she does it really. They do it. Yeah, they do it really well. They had people up there. They were having private conversations about administrative work, seeing to it that they continue to do their responsibilities of holding lectures and studies and such. That's, for all intents and purposes, Mistress, it was rather boring and bureaucratic, to be honest with you.
Who was there? Do you recall faces, names?
Everybody was there. I followed her to the lecture hall, listened to her speak to the others. Something about ongoing changes amongst the households, the new agreements with House Treshy, and a recent something about bringing something up to the Chandei Quorum about a border conflict out in Basris, or in Hellcatch Valley. It sounded all very bipedal to me. I don't do biped stuff well. Sorry, Mistress.
Any way you could communicate to me the faces that you've seen?
Oh, yeah, sure. I could just draw them out with my tail. Give me a second here. He kind of like does a couple rat poops and some rat urine.
Jesus.
He takes the tip of his tail. I'm going to give him a performance check on that. Good, actually. He starts, over the next 5 minutes, he's drawing out, who they look like. Only one of them looks familiar to you that she would have been talking to. And that would have been Lyra Dawnlight was one of the ones she was talking to. And the other one you recognize as Narissa Brightstar, the one of the Saloon priestesses on loan from Whitestone.
Huh. And do you when you were waiting in her room, which was your primary objective, did she change her form again?
That I don't know, Mistress, because that's when I poofed out of existence. I followed her downstairs, and then followed her back upstairs, and then I went poof.
Did you see any other parts from the Fae, or parts that might have been brought in from the Fae pass through?
No, not that I noticed, Mistress. No, unfortunately not.
And do we have any kind of telepathic communication-y thing that I could use to
yeah. If I'm in 100 feet of you, yeah, you could see through me, and I can, we can communicate. Otherwise, you just gotta trust me to go do what you command me to do. Yeah, sorry.
It's more so that I want to get an image of the person who was talking about the Lumos Treshy agreements.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how we do that, though. I mean, you could always... Can you turn into a rat? Could you turn into a creature?
No, I can do minor illusion, and I can do...
well, when you get better, maybe we could try something better, but...
Wow.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Just a little shade.
Can you draw another poop painting, maybe?
Sure, I can do one of you if you like.
No, okay. Can
it really gets the frown in your eyes.
You recall talking about the Lumos Treshy agreements?
Yeah, I don't know who they were. There's a group of them. Maybe about 7. Oh, you know what? Yeah. One of them kind of reminded me of your friend Melody. Only it was a he. He had big horns, and he was a satyr for sure.
Well, You've been incredibly useful and a joy to talk to as always.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's really cool.
Can you please take your poop with you on the way out?
What do you want me to do to my poop? I just.
Maybe
It's
just
better
pick
if
it
I
up
just.
on your way
Nah,
out.
it's better if I just leave it. Yeah, I don't really want to touch.
No, I think you should. You should. keep
Anyways,
them
I'll
these
just be out in the
things.
streets, eking a living. He scurries off to a nearby hole in the wall and disappears.
I'm gonna get a broom.
I don't think we have one.
I hate this.
Like, Ford walks by the room and just kind of looks in there, like, all right.
It's how I communicate my misery. I do drawings with rat feces. It's very avant-garde.
To each their own. No judgment here. Just whatever decorates
sounds
your
like a
room, I
lot
guess.
That sounds like a lot of judgment, actually.
Whatever decorates your room.
How dare you?
Alright.
Okay.
I do believe we have an auction to attend tonight, and
Yes.
I would like to scope out the grounds a little bit. So, because I don't plan on attending the auction, I plan to be as far away from that, but still within sight of it to offer you all cover as possible.
To be honest, I don't know if it's a good idea for me to attend it too. I need some time to consider some things, if that's okay.
Well, you're more than welcome to accompany me in the area where I'll be.
Thanks. Truthfully, I have some things that I really need to both consider and strategize around, so I might not be able to help you guys in the next few hours. But after that, I'm all into helping decorate.
You're not coming to the party?
Well, I think it would be. Here's the thing. It might be a little tricky for me to arrive with you guys after some people have potentially seen me as a changeling after I passed out. If somebody from that monastery or from the Dawnfather's temple happens to be there, then I fear that it would be pretty obvious.
Do you
And
have another form that you could use? I don't really know how this changeling thing works. Like, is it just kind of you can look like whatever you want to, or is it a couple of options?
right now, I'm considering either taking this form that I sometimes use during events that I don't want to be seen in, and I change into my form known as Sour Ron, and it's a guy named Ron with a really sour face. And since my he's not very friendly looking, which kind of helps in that people don't want to talk to him. And then I would maybe pretend.
All right, you've got to now describe for me what Sour Ron looks like.
He's
Sour Ron.
Red hair, real pale.
yeah, like very pale,
Where's an
very
eye patch?
sticky looking, very like aristocratic. Like somebody in his bloodline had both blue blood and intermarried in an unfortunate way, and like a very interesting face. And just a very sour look, like he really hates everybody. Like he really hates everybody.
I'm just worried that the dress is going to look kind of weird on Sour Rock.
That's true. You got that cool dress to wear.
I guess it could be a feminine version of him.
By the way, a D6 inspiration for your constant non-copyright use of, Lord of the Rings reference. That's
Yes.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm very excited for this to become annoying to everybody. I guess, and then since my dress changes colors to like the different and like symbols to the different houses, maybe I can pretend to be somebody who is like part trashy, part Loomis, and like an advisor to one of the aristocratic art buyers who isn't present.
Ooh, that would be cool.
You can try it. I was gonna do augury. I was gonna use this time to do augury to see if that's at all a good idea or if it's a disastrously bad idea.
Yeah, you can cast augury and see if it's a good idea.
Okay. So it takes 10 minutes. And
You have
I'm
to
gonna
toss
do-
rat feces to do that, right?
She's.
That's the
I
spell
hate this
on it.
place. I hate where this is.
Instead of
There's-
tossing bones or tossing
Yeah.
dye, you have to toss rat poop.
We were in the saunas yesterday. How did we fall so
And I'm in
far?
this dilapidated, rundown shop talking to a rat that's doing performance imagery and poop. How did I get it? Can you
I feel-
fall any lower?
I feel like it's those caricatures you get at a
one
carnival.
bad roll. We're all
Yeah.
one bad roll from this.
500 gold less horror now too on top of it.
Yeah, this is a bit. This is mortifying. So I will do 2 auguries. One for if I go to the event as Sauron, and one as if I go with my Corinna. Because I don't know which is more suspicious, for her to be there or for her not to be there at this point.
And in fairness, you were never in the Karina form while you were at the Temple of the Dawnfather. We did say Karina, but possibly a very common name in, maybe a common name in Marquet. So
I think if everybody is seen with a changeling, and then everybody is again seen with the only person who was not there and not the changeling, it might.
that is
I
a fair
think-
point.
I think you're just suspicious. Yeah, I think you're just very paranoid.
Well, it does come with being an aristocrat.
I wouldn't know.
No, I guess you wouldn't, would you? So I do the 2 augury. I'm wasting very good magic on this very mundane, very unimportant thing.
Oh, so the first augury is to whether or not you should go as Karina.
Yeah.
You get a very chilling sense of a chill, cold breeze, and a feeling that there will probably be a lot of households there, including House Loomis. Being there as Karina feels dangerous.
Okay, that's good to know. So how does going there as Sauron fare for me?
No feeling of warmth or cold, which usually implies a neutral outlook. Not really sure.
Okay, I'll try to go as Sauron and keep a low profile. It will be hard because I guess I really do want to go as Sour. I don't want to go as like Sauronette. I want to go as Sauron, but I have a dress, so maybe I'll figure something out.
He's just
I'm
got
sure
I-
Fabian could throw something together really quick.
He's just gonna
Okay.
stitch the skirt together to make pants.
could be
I-
considered some sort of kilt.
Yeah, I was just putting
Oh.
the guilt.
Yeah, Sauron is Scottish. I love it.
Now we get to hear your Scottish accent, though.
Oh god.
Ooh.
Don't be going down that way, laddie. It's going to take you places you don't want to go.
Well, I struggle with an American accent, so I'm sure this will be easy.
The Deep South just rolls off the tongue, though. It's so easy, so natural.
Back up in the basement of the Spire by Fire, the Spire by Fire. You and Traumaton continue to search the old basement. You managed to collect 84 gold and 32 silver pieces. That was the kind of random coins that were kind of haphazardly stacked and left on one of the tables. No sign of any written work or documentation. No sign of the ledger that the orc companion would have been using. No sign that any fight or anything took place down here. Just this rather massive celestial magic circle, and that brief feeling that somebody else was here and then kind of was gone.
Rob, I believe we've kind of exhausted ourselves here, and I don't want to be too suspicious that we're hanging around here too long. Is there some sort of like sack or bag or something that I can grab that makes it look like my stuff?
Yeah. You go to the corner of the basement, you pick up an empty linen bag, and on the way up, once you're in the kitchen, you kind of fill it quietly with some foodstuffs, and you pick up some cooking utensils and cooking implements, and to kind of make it look like you're gathering up your chef supplies or your cooking supplies that you had left here. You and Trauma come out of the kitchen. The warden standing there waiting patiently. Oh, good. You found what you needed. Now, please, we must hurry. The rest of the investigators are coming, and we shouldn't be inside. He quickly hustles you guys out towards the side alley.
I want to slip him a piece of gold for him helping.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, of course.
I want to ask him his name.
My name's Parker.
Pleasure to meet you, Parker.
Of course. Use the back alleys to find your way out of here. I can't take you back through the cordon. It just won't do.
Completely understand. You've been more than generous with your time and secrecy.
Of course. He kind of turns on his heels, heads back towards the front of the burnt section of the tavern, leaving you and Trauma in the alleyways. Where would you two like to go?
I would have sent Trauma the name or the address of where we're going. Just
Where are you going?
Or I mean, the address of where
the Faded Walk. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So Trauma, you get that connection, that strange kind of unwanted telepathic connection from Foreign, who describes the location of a building at the Faded Walk, and that's where they currently are. You're mute.
I said that out loud too. But I turn to Electra and just be like, God, it's been so long. What was it that I was calling him? The backwater idiot is at this location. We should probably beat him.
Sounds wonderful. Sounds divine.
But
Thank you.
Eventually, Ford, as you and Karina and Melody are kind of talking about the shop and what to do with it, and kind of bringing them up to date on the stuff that Sarka told you about, in walks Eritrea and Atraumaton. All five of you are back together again. It's now getting into early afternoon at this point. You have maybe about 2 or 3 hours until the Greymaker's auction is going to be beginning.
Okay, time is ticking. We have to go pick up our clothes. I have to do makeup. My hair is not curled. Guys, this is our new house. I picked the room at the back by the alley. Karina's got the one with the
blacked out curtains.
Floor. But I think the other ones are open.
Actually, if somebody wants to switch with me, I'm very open to that.
Hey, Trauma, there's a big veranda on the 3rd floor. I thought if perhaps we were to come across ownership of another skiff, perhaps I could fashion a way to park the skiff up on the veranda. It may make our transportation around here quite simple.
We're supposed to sit on the veranda and then people see us, like having little parties on the veranda. That's kind of like about being seen.
I thought this area was beneath you.
No,
I thought you were one of those hoity-toity upper spire types. We're down here in the lower levels. You stick out like a sore thumb.
Everyone has to start somewhere, and this is where we're starting, and it's going to be extremely beautiful. It just is going to take a little bit of work.
But don't they say it's 10 years to be an overnight success? I mean, you want to take that time?
Maybe for other people, but not for me.
Fair enough.
Where would you guys like to go next?
I definitely want to scout out around where the auction's going to be, just to find like a rooftop with access, like Overwatch, I guess, of the area kind of thing.
The auction house where the Greymakers kind of call their guild headquarters is located up on the second highest level of the Lantern Spire.
I think Karina is gonna do a crash course real quick on modern arts and current art trends, and just if somebody could, I guess I'll pick up my clothes, and after that, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go to the side and study on the kind of people who are involved in this scene before we go there.
Oh, Melody, before I forget,
Yeah.
that lizard fella downstairs with the pink scales, Saka was his name. He seemed to know Fabian, so perhaps if you bring that up to Fabian, we might get some more information about the man who was just clearing out our house.
I think he's like pretty famous. Like, was it like he knew of Fabian, or do you think they're like friends or something?
No, they definitely knew each other more than by name only, I think.
Ooh,
Really
okay.
had the kind of jilted ex kind of feeling.
Well, I'm not trying to make Fabian mad because obviously I need this tailoring to be a success, but I will slip a bit
Well,
if I
more
can.
like Saka was the jilted ex, not Fabian.
Okay. Ooh, some good gossip.
Exactly. You know, your kind of grounds for discussion.
Melody will head towards Fabian's once the team is ready.
Yeah, whenever we take off, I'm gonna go straight up to the area because Trauma's got my charm, so I can talk to him while we're there. But I'll be looking for just a good Overwatch spot or a place if I need to sneak into the building, or I thought for whatever reason I thought it was an open air auction, like it was in the middle of a marketplace kind of thing. But
No, not quite. It's a legitimate, like it's a high-end auction house. You can only get there through invitation, or if you know someone that can get you there via invitation. It's very exclusive. And it was only, I think it was Ithrin that got you those invitations to it at this point.
Yep.
It sounds like a place the Joker would hit.
Definitely the kind of place the Joker would hit.
then I'll be looking for how to sneak into the place or how to get in. Like I'll try to go rooftops to get in, kind of thing.
Okay, so you're heading back up to the Lantern Spire, second level, to begin kind of scoping out the area.
Yep.
In preparation. Gotcha.
Yep.
What are the rest of you doing?
I guess I'll go with Melody to get our clothes, and after that I'll look for a library or someplace where I might do some studies.
Okay.
Trauma's got that fancy hat.
Ooh, yes.
That's true. Trauma does have a fancy
Already
hat.
looking great.
From the reaction, I'd imagine he thought we forgot about the hat.
Yeah.
There it is. Truly a fancy hat.
Fanciest hat.
There we go.
Damn squib.
The majesty of the hat.
So with Karina and Melody going to Fabian's, Ford going to go scope out the Greymaker's house, what are Eritrea and a Traumaton doing with their afternoon before going, or before deciding whether or not they're going to the auction?
Do we have our? I can't remember if we have our like new garbs with us that Fabian made for us. So I would want to head to the shop too and make sure I'm all set up for that.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Traumaton, anything you want to do?
Did I actually take possession of my hat that he gave me, or was he just gonna throw something together and give it to me before the auction? I don't know.
I think you'd have to pick that up as well.
Okay, so I'll head back to the shop.
Okay. So with the four of you heading back to Fabian's and Foreign heading to scope out the Greymaker's auction house, traversing your gondola rides take you into two separate directions. One towards the more mid-tier near the spa, and the other area of the Lantern Spire where Fabian's Silver Time shop is located at. While Thorn heads up a different way, going up to the second tier of the Lantern Spire, taking them higher up into the more exclusive area of the Lantern Spire. The four of you walk into the Silver Time, and when you do, you see no sign of Fabian, just a blue-skinned male tiefling that is adorned with many different decorations on their horns. They're wearing very exquisite clothing, and I know who you are. Fabian said some very unorthodox people would be coming in here looking for their clothing orders. Hold on. Oh yes, a big hat for you. I have dresses. Although you, who are you, sir?
I got the my dear cousin's boyfriend's girlfriend's neighbor could not make it due to smallpox, so I have taken over the invite.
So
They said you can arrange something for me.
Are you contagious? Is it okay? I mean, I don't know if I.
No, not me. The person who was supposed to take the ticket. So, but rather than
Oh.
eat the ticket, they gave me the tickets.
What? Come in then. We must fix this. You look terrible. Come here. Come over this. He takes you in the back in less than 15 minutes. You watch his sour Ron comes out of the back wearing a Black Watch plaid kilt, some like simple but tasteful leather strapped up boots, and like a really nice silken kind of tunic for the top with a cool little vest over it to kind of just give him that sort of flair.
Ron, you look so dashing.
Yes, he does, doesn't he? Oh, this is so much nicer than Fabian is busy. Unfortunately, he's out gallivanting around with probably ex-lovers or whatever he does.
Jesus Christ.
He's not here. But good. I've got your dress. I've got your hat for your silly little metal friend there. And yes, Theo, go ahead. Yes, Fabian had a lot to say about you. It was quite fascinating. Here are your clothes as well. Now, my understanding is you are all going to the Greymakers, right? That's why he gave you these clothes to wear. Didn't you have a fifth person with you that was going to go to the... No, just the four. I thought there were more of you, but I do fabrics, not counting, not my thing. Well, anyways, enjoy your time at the auction house. Have fun. For all that's holy, please have fun.
Thank you.
You guys kind of come out of the Silver Time and start. You kind of have your clothing on for the evening's wear. You got maybe an hour to kill before the auction house begins, and you start making your way towards the gondolas that are going to take you up towards the Greymakers auction house. Thorn, upon arrival on that top layer, Karina, did you want to try to find a library before going to the auction house?
Yes. But
Okay.
also, do my clothes still have the element of changing color to different...
Unfortunately not. That was with the dress, so
yeah.
you're kind of stuck with not so much of a magical attire this time.
Very fair. At least I have a kilt. So, if I can find a library.
Give me an investigation check, if you would, please.
13.
13. The only place that you know of to go would be over at the Airy Spire. And over at the Airy Spire, there's a place called the Ascension's Rise, which is kind of a place of academic and study. They might have what you need. but it's a good 1 hour gondola ride to get over there because you're already on the Lantern Spire, and they usually close at dusk. So there's probably only about 2 hours left until dusk. You're not sure if you'd have enough time to be there long enough to like do your research.
Does this world have like magazine stands?
No, not really. They have crier columns where these wooden columns are set up with like all the local information and local news on it. And the previous day's crier that comes out to yell the information throughout the city. But that's about as deep as it goes.
I'll go to the criers and see if there is any like old newspapers that pertain to like art news.
Okay. In fact, walking up towards the next gondola level for the Lantern Spire, you come across one of the crier columns, and the four of you are kind of just mingling around. And there's other people here too. Like they walk up, they read a few things, and give me investigation as you examine the crier column.
That's a nat 20. It's a 25.
25. Kind of looking through all the parchments and different, there's, wanted for murder signs and, someone trying to sell their cart. It's like a mix of everything. But you find a week-old crier document that's pinned underneath some of the other documents on the column. You kind of move them out of the way. You start reading it. The Greymaker's auction is expected to sell a very important piece of art tonight. It's a write-up of a particular painting that the Greymakers came in possession of recently, and they plan on selling it. It's believed to be magical in nature, and it's believed to, fetch quite a bit of funds. And there's like a lot of journalistic kind of writing of, House Treshy is expected to be there. House Loomis is expected to be there. All the different, the representatives of the Chandei Quorum are expected to be there. And all the, the fine, rich folk of, Jrusar are all expected to, to this coveted affair and this opportunity to purchase what's called a Bragsworth.
Does it say anything about what a Bragsworth is?
It describes that as being the name of the painter. The name of the painting is called Duality, and it is a famous painting by this Bragsworth. So they refer to it as a Bragsworth. There's a short little column about Bragsworth. Evidently, he's a famous painter from the Hellcatch Valley, and he resides. Make sure I pull up his marker on this one. And he comes from the King's Fall city, which is the capital of the Hellcatch and the seat of power of the Hellcatch Valley as well.
Am I able to kind of extract a pretentious sounding anecdote or like analysis from one of the newspapers that I can maybe bring out in conversation later?
Clearly a Bragsworth is expensive and a big deal. You just get the feeling that you could probably just make up names and be very obnoxious about it and just claim all the paintings in the world. You may not know a lot about art, but you could certainly wing it.
Okay, I will do my best.
I need you guys to know, I love this, but the only reason I didn't go after an MFA is because I was like, I've seen what they make, and I make more now. So this hurts me in my soul.
I love that squid. Thorn. There's a particular problem. You get on the gondola to get up to the second level of the Lantern Spire, which the only other level above the Lantern Spire is where some of the noble houses reside, which is that final height level. which has a direct gondola link up to the topmost of the core spire, where you can see the Chandei Quorum administrative buildings across the way. You get the feeling these two are linked for a reason, and sure enough, as you get off the gondola to the platform, the entire entrance into this level is gated off. There are about 8 wardens that maintain this gated area. They're checking people that are trying to get in, and people that are getting in are showing identification of sorts. Like they're showing either proof that they live on this level or proof that they work for one of the noble houses. There's a small line of people that are showing their invitations to get in for the auction house.
I'm gonna scan around and try and look for gaps in their security.
Give me investigation as you take the time to examine the gate, examine any way that might be able to get in.
All right, that's 13.
The wall itself, the gated access point, is maybe about 15 feet tall. And the dual gates that are currently open have about 4 wardens on the outside, 4 wardens on the inside. You can also see, now that you're looking more closely, there's 2 wardens that kind of walk back and forth on the upper parapet of the gate. And the wall finishes into the spire rock itself. The spire rock to your right looks like it overhangs slightly under shadow. Like maybe if you tried to free climb the rock from the level below, you might be able to scale past this level and then get up over to one of the outwatch kind of buildings that are slightly hanging off the edge of the rock wall.
Okay. Are any of the wardens like moving amongst the people, or are they all just sticking at the gate?
They are at the gate. You also notice that the uniforms they're wearing are a bit more prestigious and purposeful. You get the feeling that these might be those wardens that are actually competent at their job, and they're paid very purposely to do well here as well.
Okay. I want to try. Let me check. Yeah, I'm going to try to bump into one of the more prestigious looking people trying to get in and see if I can't pick like their wallet off of them.
Are you trying for the ones that are getting in because they live here, or the ones?
The ones that live there. Yeah.
Okay. Give me a sleight of hand as you do this.
Yep. Oof, 11.
11. You feel this person push you away. Your hand, unfortunately, empty. Mind yourself, braggart. It kind of like shoves you off and kind of like moves away from you kind of quickly. Goes and stands by one of the wardens, and they have like a quick conversation, and you see 2 wardens begin approaching you.
Okay. As they start to approach, I want to be a little bit obvious at first, just so that I can lead them away from the gate.
Okay. Obvious in the sense that you're trying to get away from them, or
like trying to get away from them, but doing badly at it on purpose. Because I'm trying to actually distract them away from the gate.
Okay. Give me a deception check as you try to pull this off.
9.
You're not very good at this, are you?
That's 8. Sorry, 8.
8.
Yeah, it's a +4. And
the 2 wardens start running after you and yelling, "You there! Stop!"
Okay. And then so I'm gonna turn and look. I'm looking for just a place to duck into to actually lose them now. Like trying to lead them far enough away that I can sneak back by later.
You're on the gondola platform. There is another gondola that's just arrived. There's the double gates and the walled off section to get into this part of the second level of the Lantern Spire. There's not a lot of places to duck to. This place
Okay,
feels
well, I guess I
pretty
want to.
protected.
So rather than duck, I want to feign like I'm jumping on, like I'm headed to that gondola, going to get on the gondola,
Okay.
and then try to disappear in the crowd at that point, and so I can double back past them.
You run towards the gondola. You can hear the wardens, "Hey, stop! Don't let him get away!" And as you stop, like you're pretending to leap towards the gondola, there's maybe about 9 or 10 people that have just gotten off the gondola that just arrived. Give me a stealth check as you step away and try to get into the crowd.
That was a 24.
They get to the edge of the platform and they don't see you. They start moving people out of the way and crowd members out of the way. And they're actively searching for you on the platform. But you use the crowd to kind of float closer towards the gate, the entrance. And it's at that moment as you get, with the crowd near the entrance, you watch as, there's still other guards there. They kind of fill in for the guys that ran after you.
So my point when I double back, I want to use one of my I want to use my charge of disguise self to look like one of the guards that I led off.
Okay, give me another deception check.
Yep. Okay, that's a 13.
13.
Yep. But I'm gonna be like limping, like as I come back, like I'm gonna be like walking awkwardly.
What's wrong with you, mate?
Pulled a hamstring.
Well, get back in there. Kind of like points towards the open gates. Get back to your post.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You kind of go inside through the gates. There's a guard standing there. He looks at you and goes, "The hell's wrong with you, man?"
I pulled a hamstring chasing that son of a bitch.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't hear the ruckus?
Well, no. You're like the #1 title holder for marathons when we compete with the other wardens. You're telling me that you pulled a hammy.
I didn't stretch. Sorry. These muscles don't activate themselves. They take years of effort.
That's a pretty lame excuse, but whatever. Go see the barracks marshal. He'll take care of you. Have one of the clerics heal you up.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Gotta step away from the gate, and you're on the main walkway. And then it allows you to duck into some nearby alleyways. But as you do, the shops here and the more importantly, the estates on this level are night and day compared to everything else that you've seen. These are very tall, 4-story cylindrical structures made of exquisite crystals and rock facades. Each one has these incredible garden areas built up around the base of each of these cylindrical estates. People are walking kind of arm in arm, talking and chatting the day away, or, coming in and out of the gardens. But there's one particular building that stands out. It's a large kind of marble structure on the outside. It kind of sits on its own little bit of rock away from the other estates. And you could see a very well curated garden path of rock and rare, like rare flora and other plants and flowers that have been very purposely kind of planted to make the walk very pleasant as you go up it. You can already see that there's a line forming on this place. And up at the very top, the marble structure has a very small entrance. It looks to be about 3 or 4 stories tall, but there's no windows in it whatsoever. It seems like a solid, almost fortress-like structure from this vantage point. There are some estate towers that kind of stand near it, but they're at least maybe 200 feet away. They would offer you decent vantage down into where the structure is, but you don't really see any means or any way to kind of like see into the place. There are some cylindrical like domes on top of the marble structure, that look to be made of a transparent kind of crystal structure or crystal glass. You're not really sure. And this area is very much heavily patrolled by wardens.
Okay. So I'll like duck in the alley to drop the guard disguise, and then I'll oops, that's the wrong button. Sorry. I'll drop my disguise. I was trying to take off my disguise self and I clicked the wrong one.
No worries.
But yeah, anyway, and then I will nonchalantly just walk, like I'm perusing the gardens on the outside. I actually kind of just take a look if any of those flowers or any of the flora there seem, if they're local here or if they're imported or if perhaps they're fey or something.
Don't even need to make a check. They're definitely not local. These are not desert plants. These are not jungle plants. These are plants unlike anything you've ever seen. They're definitely not from here.
Okay.
They're not fey. Fey plants tend to be crystalline and not really known to be transferable to the material plane. But they're strange plants. Just not used to. Never seen them before.
Okay. Can I roll a nature check to see if I can get an idea of the purposes of the plant? Like, I mean, they're set out here because they want people to look at them, or would it be investigation to kind of see if this is like if there's some facade here, this is like extra layer of security kind of thing.
You could give
it's
me
a very hoity-toity place.
Yeah, you give me nature or investigation.
Okay, I'll probably go on investigation.
Okay.
Yeah, investigation. That's a 14.
14. They seem like they're there to impress. Since the entire pathway takes you up to the Greymaker's auction house entrance, it feels like they want people to feel that they're coming into a special place and that they're seeing things that they've never seen before. In fact, you even notice like a few of the people ascending the stairs up to the Greymakers, occasionally they pick a flower and kind of smell at it and kind of put it on their lapel and kind of continue walking upwards. Or they kind of take some of the feathery flowers and kind of pull them off, and they watch how they kind of float away on the air and kind of off the edge of the spire.
If I can, I'd like to pick out a couple of people in the crowd that look more important, and try to drop tokens on them.
Yeah, that's easy enough. Give me 2 sleight of hands as you focus on a couple that's kind of passing by you as you're kind of admiring the gardens.
Okay, that first one is a 24.
Okay. That one drops into their pocket on their like fall jacket that they're wearing.
The second one's a 16.
The second one will drop into like the inside vest of the second one's pocket. Like you walk between them and kind of brush up against them in such a way that you're able to leave tokens on their forms.
Okay. Because like once they get inside, it's something that I'm going to just try and get a feel of how things are going while the event's going on. After that, I'm just going to go and look for one of those. You said there were taller houses about 200 feet away. So I'll go try to see if I can work my way up to an upper level of one of those buildings, but stay out of the way and hidden enough just to have sight of at least the entrance and going in. And I'm going to start like just paying attention. Like I'll have my rifle scope out and just be looking at the people going in, just observing them.
Easy enough to do. I mean, the gated entrance is so well protected that most of the wardens on patrol are up closer to the Greymaker auction house, the big marble structure that's kind of off on its own on this level. And quite a few of the houses seem to be closed up for the night. Either they're in attendance of the Greymaker's auction, or maybe they're traveling, or they're just out and about. You pick one particular wall that's easy to scale, and you make it into the gardens. You then approach the 5-story structure. You begin scaling up the side of it to get up to the conical roof to find yourself a nice little place to hide and begin to kind of like keeping an eye on the crowds as they're arriving. Give me acrobatics for the climb.
Yep. That's an 8.
An 8. About halfway up, you lose your footing and you slide like 15 feet down, and you try to dig your hands into the side, and you feel your fingertips kind of peel backwards as you do it, as you take 5 points of bludgeoning damage from the effect of slipping. Give me another acrobatics as you begin to try climbing up again.
That's a nat 20 though. So
yeah, you like
23.
You blow it off, you shake off the cramps in your hands, and you quickly recover, and you start scaling up. You get to the top of the conical tower, and sure enough, you have got this great vantage point towards the entrance of the marble the marble structure. You can see the long pathway leading up to it. You can see the gondola gates that let people into this part of the level. So it's a pretty good vantage point. Give me a stealth check as you look to find a good place to position yourself.
That's a 14.
14?
Yep.
Okay. Boy, not like those level 20 rolls, right?
No, I mean, I already having like 4s and 5s on my rolls is still kind of
right.
nice.
So while the others are attending the gondola up to the entrance, the 4 of you find yourself in line. You quickly present your invitations to the guard. They usher you through the gates, and you're now watching as the sun is beginning to set, and the true nature of the Lantern Spire comes out at this point of where you are. All these lanterns that are anchored to all the different estates, walls, and exposed areas are magically enhanced or magically affected. So as soon as it's dark, all of their crystalline colors light up and kind of give this entire posh area this well lit and well crafted kind of ambiance. You could hear some of a lot of the crowd doing the ooh and ah thing as you know the place is transformed from daytime and into nighttime. You're now in a line going up these garden steps that are surrounded by all these amazing plants and flowers. People are examining them or just kind of already talking about there's whispers in front of you, whispers behind you about the fame and the incredible nature of the Gray Makers Guild, their auctions as to what they do. And they're all talking about this Bragworth painting, Duality, that's coming up for bid. And they're wondering, do you think House Treshy is going to get it? Or, I don't know, House Loomis is coming to some funding recently. I think they're going to get it. And then names are being dropped. Something about a major council member of the Chandei Quorum hoping to put up a bid for it. There's people talking about how House Maysoon may try to get their hands on it as well. So it's like this whole gossip train that you're picking up on, that typical theater line that you're in, people talking about their self-worth, people talking about, the tragedy of the Ember Spire, and all this activity as you're kind of walking up towards the garden path that'll take you towards the entrance of the Graymakers auction house. Let's go ahead and take our 5-minute break. And when we come back, we'll do the second half. Can't get over that squid hat. It's so cool.
Go to DC, get your own. I said I got this in the Natural History Museum, but I'm pretty sure I've seen these at like 9 different vendors at various local prides since then. So I don't know.
Yeah, but I want you, because you have one, I want yours.
Naturally.
Just human sentiment. I mean, I feel better knowing I have a Traumaton original.
Mhm.
So for Karina, Eritrea, Melody, and a Traumaton, although a Traumaton's getting most of the good compliments. All about that. And at this point, all varieties of people are kind of fawning over a Traumaton, just like, oh my gosh, your hat is gorgeous, darling. It looks amazing on you. You know, that kind of vibe of energy. The 4 of you arrived to the entrance of the Greymaker's auction house. There are attendants at the doorway who kind of nod towards you and take your invitations this time, while the guards allowed you in because you had them. This time one of the attendants kind of addresses the 4 of you. Please enjoy the evening. Do you plan on bidding on anything this evening?
We may. We'll see what takes our fancy.
Oh, and then you may need one of these. And he hands you a numbered sign with the number 82 on it. If you plan on bidding on anything during the auction, just hold up your marker, and that will signify that you're looking to bid on the item. Enjoy your evening. Drinks over there, buffet over there. And he starts pointing to the interior of this amazing marble hallway, this structure. All of these lights hanging, but what's really cool is the ceiling. The entire ceiling is an illusionary skyline of clouds, daylight, nighttime, soundless lightning kind of arcing through it, very kind of like Harry Potter-esque, with the false ceiling, so that it feels like you're just staring up at the sky that's kind of boiling up above you. You can see clusters of all sorts of people kind of gathered either over by where they're getting drinks or over by where they're attending to where the food is. There's excellent table sitting everywhere, and at the very back end of the hall you can see a stage-like platform, and on this platform currently you can hear the minstrels kind of playing, just like a very subtle backdrop to the evening's attention. People walking by you kind of nodding courteous, like how rich people know rich people, they just nod at each other. You're in an auction house, you're here because you have money or influence, so these people all kind of pretend to know each other. But you immediately, for you, Karina, as Sauron, being who you are, you immediately see the house colors of Maysoon and Treshy and Loomis. You could see some of the council attendees wearing the Chandei Quorum colors and the representation of their council seat. Other dignitaries and notables are here. You even notice, the 4 of you give me history checks as you notice a group of people off to the side that look a little bit strange, a little bit different than the other crowd.
12.
10.
Okay.
19.
Okay.
18.
For whatever reason, hidden in his power banks, way back in his historical mindset, and Karina, you recognize it as well, there's a dignitary group of people from Amman that are here, the capital of Taldori. While you were expecting a lot of dignitaries and notable locals, to see someone here from such a far away place, and and they are wearing like the House Amon colors that distinguish. They're obviously here as emissaries, and they just seem to be talking amongst themselves. And this is when you first notice that there are artworks set up everywhere, and then heavily guarded in the very middle of the hall, guarded by they're not guarded by wardens, but these guys look dangerous. They're in like obsidian black armor, carrying these like wicked looking halberds that have arcs of energy kind of coming off the edge of the tips of the halberds. They don't wear helmets, so they're long, kind of gray and white hair, and their drow features very much exposed as these drow enforcers, about 6 of them, surround this painting that sits on a pedestal. It's maybe only 2 feet tall by 2 feet wide, and it's got a cloth over it, like kind of, hiding it for the purposes of anticipation. And all around you is just the sounds of a party, but more of the cocktail party variety. People talking about all the normal things that have been happening in Jrusar, the different powers that be, the different whispers about the Ember Spire, about a recent occurrence at a theater, and other things that are kind of going back and forth amongst the crowd. But it's now early evening. No sign of Thorn. The rest of you are inside of the Greymaker auction house. And you finally catch the eye of somebody who, her regalness and her beauty are like almost painfully like hard to look at her. Like there's something going on with her. And seeing a Traumaton's hat, she immediately just kind of glides over and starts admiring his hat. That is not what I did. That's what I did. Thank you very much. So that I could do that. As she comes over, she's wearing very bright purples with kind of like a very obvious kind of magical necklace on. It's kind of cascading with energy. Her white gray hair pulled back and these long kind of diamond earrings. And I have never seen anything like this before. You are quite a wonderment. You are Warforged, are you not?
I am indeed.
Where do you hail from? Do you come from Eberron?
I don't honestly have much of I don't honestly have that information in my memory banks currently. I've been living here for at least the last 50 standards.
If I didn't know any better, you show some signs of Crimp's work, but that would be silly. Why would he let one of his works in public? Anyways, pleasure to meet all of you. Quite the interesting group you have here. My name is Rosala. Pleasure to meet you. I am the matron of the house of the Greymakers. I usually know all the people that come to my auctions over the years, and I must say I don't know any of you.
Well, I am here representing another person who couldn't quite make it, but still wanted to participate in the auction.
That makes sense. And what is your name?
Oh, Ron.
Ron. Pleasure to meet you, Ron. And this beautiful person here, what is your name?
Is she looking at me or Eritrea?
Your oath is broken, Melody.
I am Eritrea. And I kind of whisk my robes around and show all the beautiful colors that.
And you are wearing a Fabian original. That is quite impressive. It is an absolute pleasure to meet you. Her eyes linger on you a little too long for your own liking, and then she switches over to Melody. Oh, a Fey traveler. What is your name?
My name is Melody. It's so wonderful to meet you. I love your earrings.
Oh,
Melody's very intimidated.
thank you. I have never met so many Seda in my life. You are the second one. You
Really?
wouldn't happen to know another Seda that goes by the name of Ariana, would you?
My sister, of course.
She and the House Treshy helped us recently acquire the artwork that we have for sale tonight. She interests me a great deal. Maybe sometime in the future we can have a discussion.
I would love that. Happy
Interesting.
to connect you.
She kind of nods her head and goes, if you excuse me. And she kind of whisks her way over to the next group of people, kind of very performative, all four of you felt no reason to lie to her. Like, you felt like even when Karina was stumbling with what to say for a name, she almost felt compelled to tell her real name, but it was more about something, some kind of aura, something on her that was very influential over all four of you. And it everything kind of dims a little bit when she moves away, and you watch her as she just flawlessly interacts with all these different groups of people.
Wow. She's incredible.
What a bitch. Turn away.
Ron.
That's sour Ron.
Got to stay in character, man.
Oh, I love it. That's such a solid remark. Such a solid remark.
Ron is going to look for a conversational opening next to one of the art. Is there any art that feels like it might relate to the trade routes or to Hellcatch Valley other than Bragsworth?
You're trying to find artwork. Describe for me what kind of artwork you think you're looking for.
Anything that might pertain to the historical trade route that we're seeing a lot of the
got you.
Potential.
Give me a perception check as you begin to scan some of the local artworks that are either pending for auction or they're on display for silent auction. People are kind of also around all these like ceramics and vases and smaller paintings and statue work and other things.
I got a 7, but I'm gonna see if I can add to it my inspiration to something a little more decent.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, 7 plus 6, so that it did work out.
13?
13.
You do come across a couple pieces of art that seem to indicate that they are part of they're labeled artistry of the Kyle Moreau, and they go on to do little brief descriptions, and they seem to be statues, like small bronze statues depicting elven kind of like elven lifestyle, elves either scripting in a scroll, elves making pottery or making jewelry or refinements, and there's a group of them, about 5 of them, and they seem to have been acquired from an area known as the Avishe, a small community on the borders of the Oderlands, and they're described as artifacts from the time when the elves used to rule over most of Marquet before Calamity. The Runadum Desert was once a jungle landscape, and the elves of the Kyle Moreau used to live all throughout Marquet. These appear to be excavated artifacts from the local community of Avishe, which kind of sits among the crossroads that come in and out of the Odorland Wilds and down into the Hellcatch Basin. Okay, that squid hat with a cat is even better. I feel like I've got my own private TikTok going on underneath me.
I'm waiting for him to knock it off with his tail. I'm actively waiting for him to just smack the back with his tail. Oh, there he goes.
Nope, I'm out of here. They're paying attention to me. I'm gone.
It's either that or he's gonna like. I don't think it's quite in the camera frame, but every time if you see me kind of stand up and move to my right, he keeps jumping onto my desktop or onto my PC, which is this high, like off my desk. So it's a good 4 feet up, and like I know it's not in camera, but like it's right here. So shit.
He's gonna jump
like,
on the power button. in a minute.
It's like herding cats, isn't it?
Actually, believe it or not, I've had the case I'm using for like 20 years. I upgraded to this because my family dog, her nose was exactly at the butt level, and she would turn my PC off. So that's why I bought the
I love it. I love
That's
it.
awesome.
That's such a dog story. Go ahead, Karina.
So I kind of walk around there in the beginning, listening a little, and then just looking for a conversational opening for me to kind of, walk in there naturally.
Okay. Melody, Eritrea, and Traumaton, what are you guys doing inside the hall?
I would like to, I believe, as I'm kind of talking to Melody and Trauma, I believe we need to find some sort of tinkerer's kit.
Oh, are you guys looking for that as well? Because I was asked to find that by the owner of the oil bucket.
Would you have told us about it, or do you think Trauma's keeping it to himself?
Trauma's probably keeping it to himself. 'Cause
Okay, but never mind. For some reason, I thought that was common knowledge. Disregard.
No worries. Traumaton, give me an investigation as you start looking for that item that the owner of the oil pot was talking about.
What's that? Investigation. That is a 13.
13. It takes you a while, but you finally discover it. On a shelf along some tables are these minor objects up for auction. And sure enough, there is a tinker's kit that looks amazing. Like it's the size of a medium-sized leather satchel. It's well curated. It looks in great shape. There looks to be about 4 dozen tools of various purpose kind of inside the kit. The kit is open. There's a signet on the kit, and then there's a placard that describes it as Archimedes tool set. It would appear that it's magical in nature, and it describes its ability to give people advantages on tinkering, as well as the ability to tinker very powerful objects or do powerful enchantments. And there's a beautifully scripted placard on it. Starting bid is at 2,800 gold.
Actually, I don't think I wrote this down. Somewhere was it? The guy that owned the oil bucket, did he give me anything or any kind of credit to draw on, or is this all my funds? And
No, he just mentioned that he was looking for a tinker's kit, and if you saw one, let him know.
all right,
Oil bucket. It was the oil pot.
That was the bucket. I'm sorry.
Buckets
Fine, I'll
are
change
for-
my notes.
Melody and Eritrea, what are you two doing?
I want to see if there's any sort of religious influence around here, or if this is just a pure place of greed.
Debauchery.
Yes. I'd like to see if there's anyone else here that is kind of my ilk.
Gotcha. Let me reset my camera really quick. Getting a weird memory spike. So annoying. So annoying. There we go. Back, and the memory spike is gone. I don't know why it does that. Leave it to OBS. Give me a religion check then, as you begin to scan the antiquities, as well as the general area that all the antiquities are.
10.
Nothing. You get the feeling that divinity is off limits here. You don't see any artifacts or artwork or anything of divinity, and there could be a reason for that, but you're not entirely sure. There's also, you already know that members of the Wild Mother, there's the Dawnfather's Temple, but you don't see anybody here of divine representation as well. It's mostly the upper elite of Jrusar, those that run the different households, run the Chandei Quorum, dignitaries from other parts of either Marquet or even other parts of Exandria. And no one else here seems to be showing any kind of sign of divinity on their person as well.
Okay.
Melody?
I think Melody is gonna go get a glass of champagne, and then she's gonna look for a group of friendly-looking, gossipy girls and try and just get some gossip in.
Yeah. Give me an insight check for that one.
All right. It's a nat 1. Well, brutal. That's a 5.
Yeah. Every time you attempt to get into a gossipy conversation, they kind of take one look at you and kind of lift their noses towards you, and then kind of drift away from you. And that's when you begin to notice, like most of the people here are locals for the most part, except for some of the dignitaries. You can see Karina over on one side admiring, some artwork. You could see Eritrea kind of, like he's wandering around, looking for something that you're not really specifically sure what he's looking for. A Traumaton, his big metal form, is over by a small table of offerings as well. And every time you try to get close enough to listen in or to join in the gossip, there's just this sense of avoidance. People not interested in speaking with you, or simply not welcome to their conversation.
No, this party kind of sucks. What a bummer.
At which point, the hostess, the matriarch, Rosala, sees you kind of trying to get into these groups, and she kind of leans over. Not very friendly, are they?
I'm not having a ton of luck, I have to say.
Yes. Well, some of these folks, they have mixed emotions about the Fae. I think the more friendly household Treshy, I believe, is the one that's a little bit more friendlier to the Fae kind. Ever since the incident that occurred so many years ago, and the Fae no longer accessible by those that wield influence and power, it's been a bit of a schism, bit of a feeling that it may have been the Fae's fault. And that rumor has unfortunately gained quite a bit of traction in Jrusar. Those with power generally don't look inward as much as they should. Often outward excuses tend to benefit them more tangibly, as they say. But you are her sister, aren't you?
Of course.
The eyes, face. How come you don't work with her in House Treshy?
I just got into town a couple of weeks ago. She beat me by a couple months, so I connected with her recently, but she's been busy and hard at work. I'm just kind of getting my feet.
Yes, she and some of the members of House Treshy are the ones that turned us towards this wonderful piece of work by Braxworth.
Really?
Yes. The painting is called Duality. That's at least one translation. There's multiple translations. Bragsworth is a tiefling. He resides in the Hellcatch, and he sits amongst those that are in the King's Fall, the current folk that they supposedly run the Hell's Catch, but there's rumors about that. But in some languages, the translation of this particular painting might mean the Fall's Gate, the gateways run, or some people refer to it as a painting of the other side is another translation. It's always said that when you admire the artwork of Bragsworth, you're almost seeing a little bit of magic while also feeling a bit more influenced by his work. Not many tiefling gain this level of fame. They're not always well trusted within the art world, but Bragsworth has done well for himself, for sure. I believe this particular painting will be starting at 500,000 gold this evening.
That is an incredible sum. How high do you expect to go?
I don't really know for sure, but this could be, the Grey Makers will get a commission, of course, of 25%. Your sister is set to receive a commission as well as part of this House Treshy sponsorship. But the majority of the funds go to House Treshy. They've set a cap of 1 million gold. I expect to get that this evening. There are some in attendance that admire his work, and I expect that they will certainly bid on it.
Is it the first Bragsworth you've seen?
It's only the second one I've seen in 25 years. He's a bit of a hermit in the King's Fall. He resides in his own tower. He puts out a piece of art once a year for the past 45 years. This, I believe, is number 38 that he produced many years ago. Some say number 1, if you can find it, is worth quite a great deal. No one's seen his most recent one that he's released out to the Marquesian and Jrusar public. But we hope to see it at some point. But we have other exquisite items here that will be coming up for auction as well.
I'm very excited to see. I have come in not knowing exactly what to expect, but this place is absolutely gorgeous.
Well, enjoy the rest of your evening, and don't mind these idiots. Just have a good time.
I'll do a little cheers to her.
She kind of wanders off to begin conversations with some other groups. Foreign, from your vantage point, give me perception with advantage, because you are high up. As you're watching, you just watched your friends go in to the Grey Maker's auction house, and now you're watching the other crowds kind of go in as well.
Yeah, that's a 10.
A 10?
I have a
Well,
plus.
you're rolling well tonight.
I rolled a 1 and a 4. with advantage. Woo.
You've been eyeing the crowd, kind of eyeing the marble structure, keeping an eye on things around you, but so far, nothing catches your attention out of the ordinary. You don't get a sense that anything either down in line or on the structure itself looks to be a threat.
Okay, can I then burn one of the talismans I dropped? I'll go for the one that was dropped in the vest.
Okay. And does this allow you to listen in as well?
Hear and see from that, but I lose where I am. I just hear and see where that is.
Gotcha. How long does it last for?
1 minute.
Okay. You activate the one in the vest. You can hear the token owner's voice. Are you sure they're going to be able to do this? It's hard to see the glass above through the illusion. You hear another voice. I'm confident that they can do this. They've done greater heists than this. We've We've got to get that painting. The one in the vest. I know, but Jesus, look at the guards that they've got around that thing. The people. There's so many people here. How are they going to pull this off? They've done it before. Don't worry. Our job is to provide the distraction as soon as it kicks off. Remember, it's the sound of the breaking glass. That's when you cast darkness, and then I cast thermatage. We create as much confusion as we can, and we stick to the plan. Remember that. Of course. Move along your way. I'll go stand over here. And the minute fades on the one in the vest.
Okay. I'm going to start relaying some of that information to Trauma. Trauma. I happen to pick up on a conversation between a couple of individuals within the room there, I assume, talking about there's going to be a heist tonight, and the painting is what they're going for. One of them, individual, was wearing a very fancy vest. I'm sorry, was walking in with another person as a couple. I don't know if they're still together or if they've separated inside, but there's big plans afoot, and I'm about to start scoping out the roof because I do believe there's going to be someone trying to break in through the crystals at the top. I know you can't respond, man, but just be on the lookout. I know you were trying to cause trouble yourself.
He knows me so well.
You only talked about it for days now.
So, Traumatod, you hear Foreign kind of relay all that to you. The challenge you have is you immediately start looking around. There are dozens and dozens of people finely dressed, wearing vests or jackets, or they either are couples or they're apart in different areas. You can see where Karina's over by the statues. You can see where Melody just wrapped up a conversation with Razla. You can see Arrow Trio kind of circling back after kind of going on his little walkabout through the hall. What would you like to do, Trauma?
He mentioned something about them coming through he said through the crystals. Can I kind of try to pinpoint where he's talking about?
You remember coming in and seeing these dome-like structures on the ceiling of the auction house? And that's when you kind of like focus on the illusionary skyline of the ceiling. And you could see that behind the illusion, it's using the natural kind of starlight through the glass domes up above to kind of enhance the illusionary magic that's being used up in the skyline. You get the feeling if Foreign's accurate, they may be planning on breaking through those glass domes and attempting to drop straight down onto the painting and possibly try to steal it.
How large is the painting overall? Just dimension.
Not very large. It's like 2 feet wide by 2 feet tall.
Okay.
It's currently covered with a cloth, and it's on its own pedestal, surrounded by 6 enforcers.
Okay, I'm seeing if I have anything that I might be able to. How high above us, from the auction floor? How high above us are those domes? Like
probably a good 50, 60 feet.
And how much time do we have before the auction starts?
Good question. Give me investigation as you ask around to see if you could find out how much longer till the auction starts.
All right, my baby girl here is not letting me get to my D20s. So. That's not great. That is a 6. I'm not rolling well today.
Yeah, I mean, you're not really sure. You keep getting different answers. Some people say in about an hour. Some people say in 10, 15 minutes. You're not really getting a specific answer. You get the feeling that most people you've asked are only guessing.
All right. So I think I do, unfortunately. Being a Warforged, I kind of didn't really stock anything interesting in my starting equipment. So
while you're figuring out what to do, Melody, Eritrea, and Karina, what are you guys doing?
Was I able to infiltrate a conversation?
Not really. not a very. It's like you get the feeling that if they don't know you, they're kind of not interested in you. This place feels very cliquey.
It's just like back in school. I hate this.
I mean, I'll even say after a while, you, Melody, and Eritrea find yourselves again, kind of coming away from these different crowds, and the three of you kind of come together in the center of the auction hall.
I don't say this are really, really rude.
Even for the kind of space this is, people here do suck.
Eritrea, yeah, I was gonna say you're muted, right?
Melody, I saw you chatting it up with Rosala. She's an interesting, isn't she?
Yeah, she's incredible. She came and told me a little bit about the Bragsworth. She told me about working with my sister. I guess that thing they think is going to go for like $1 million gold.
Where does this money go to?
She said some of it goes to the guild, some of it goes to House Treshy because they procured it. Some of it goes to my sister. She gets a little commission. So it goes to a lot of different places.
Does it feel like there's more art from the Hellcatch Valley than you would normally expect in an event like this?
No, in fact, this is the only piece of art that you feel is from the Hellcatch Valley. This Bragsworth original, which is marked. Everything else is either from excavation sites or from museums or from other parts of Marquet, either through people liquidating their household wealth, or maybe a couple inheriting a house and then finding weird artwork that they're not interested in, and it's kind of found its way in the laps of the Greymakers. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
Is there any other art that stands out to anybody other than the very notable big one?
Give me investigation as the three of you are standing there together. And you start looking around as you're kind of triggered by Eritrea's conversation.
15.
15? No, you get the feeling that painting is what this whole thing's about tonight. You could see other works that are probably going to go up first before the painting goes. And they haven't even started that yet because it's just getting, the evening's just getting started for the most part.
Can I get a sense of what type of, because the painting kind of has magical nature. Can I get a sense of what type of magic is coming from duality?
Ooh, does anyone have detect magic?
Oh no!
Unfortunately, with the painting being covered and being well guarded, most people are only allowed to get to about 15 feet or 20 feet, and they kind of gather and talk about it and point and kind of whisper and murmur.
I have detect magic.
Oh,
sorry, I was on mute. I said it 10 times.
I love it. Yeah, as the three of you are gathered together, Karina kind of
Excuse me.
Explosive. That any squid ink come out of that. As you guys are all three together, and Karina's like, "Oh wait, I could do that." Karina, you immediately cast detect magic, and the three of you kind of casually walk over to get close enough that you're allowed to get close to, which is right at the edge of the effectiveness of detect magic. It is heavily enchanted with divinity magic.
oh.
Can I do also detect magic on one of the figurines that I was looking at earlier to see if
Sure.
since it's an excavation site?
Yeah, the 5 figures don't really have any magical properties about them.
Okay. Divinity. Can I sense at all any kind of alignments to that divinity?
You get the feeling that it is. Give me a history check. See if you've come in contact with this type of magic before.
18.
You've actually been around this kind of magic before. Often this kind of divinity effect, this sense of divinity, kind of reminds you of portal magic.
Oh.
Ooh. There was a portal in Ember Brews in the Fire by Spire, wasn't there? Some sort of summoning circle.
It's some kind of teleportation or magic circle, yeah.
And more portal magic here?
It would seem that the painting might be a portal.
Do you have a drawing of the portal magic that you saw?
Yes. It's a little crude.
He pulls it out, and it's mostly crayon representation, like a small toddler with a crayon, kind of. Yeah. Well, recently my 2.5-year-old's been drawing with a crayon. I just love the way he just knuckle grips that thing, and he's like giggling the whole time he does it, and it goes onto the desk, onto the floor, onto the wall. It's always fun. As you share your description, Karina, give me an Arcana check, if you would, please.
20.
Nice. Eritrea is describing a teleportation circle. While the runes mimic the idea of a summation or summoning, somebody teleported into that basement.
Oh. To be honest, when I noticed the features of this painting, my first thought, and of course the house that originates it, the house that has brought it in here, my first thought that it might be somehow connected to this door we've been hearing about. That it is connected either in the sense that the person had some kind of interaction with it, or maybe that somebody might want to acquire it for reasons that relate to this door.
The door that the monster walked through?
Yeah, the very cryptic, very concerning one. Is your sister here? Would you be okay with us maybe talking a little bit to the House of Trishy through your connection with her?
Is my sister here?
You haven't seen her yet, but clearly she might be, because Rosala kind of recognized some similarities between you and Ariana. So she could be here.
I haven't seen her so far. It could be that she'll show up, but from what I know, I think she just like helped to install the painting, and then she left, because even Rosala was saying she hadn't really met her.
Would you be okay with name dropping your sister's name with a group of trashies to see if we can kind of get an in with them a little bit? Or is that gauche?
Sure, I mean, why not? I think you can name drop your own sister. I have the key to their place, by the way, so I mean, I'm practically a guest.
Well, that sounds like a practical invitation for all of us to stay there. One last thing. Do you know any male satyrs who might have been to the House of Loomis?
Well, there was Arya's friend. Do you know what he looks like?
I kind of
you wouldn't have met him, but well, I think
Yeah,
he had,
he
like,
describes
black
Karina.
hair, brown fur.
Yeah, I mean, as you described to Karina what the other satyr looked like, it sounds exactly like the satyr that your friend Evil reported in on.
Yeah, it seems like there might be a thread to follow here, though whether or not we want to follow it, I think, is also a fair question.
Where did you see him?
In the House of Loomis some time ago. I saw him, I didn't think much of it then, but obviously since meeting you and meeting your sister and kind of hearing about this potential connection between Treshy and the Fae, I remembered a conversation I've overheard back in Loomis between somebody who looked like him and one of the professors.
That's kind of weird. I know that Arya has been staying with the Treshies, but I don't know why. I don't know why they would be communicating with House Loomis. She never mentioned them.
To be honest, I have a bit of a theory at the moment, but maybe it's a little too premature to discuss it now, and certainly here. I kind of look around.
Hmm.
Ears everywhere. You never know where Thorn might have put a token.
Trauma, you notice that Melody, Karina, and Eritrea are kind of collected together having a conversation. They're a little further away than where you currently are.
All right. Are there any like little automatons or like statues that aren't up for auction?
Statues that aren't up for auction? Yeah, there's decorations. There's statuary around. Yeah.
Is there anything about my size?
Oh no. These are all like 2-3 foot decorative statues that are either on tables or pedestals or on little shelves against the wall, primarily used for decorative.
Okay, I was talking about like if there was any like large votive pieces in the hallway, like like a
not that you could see. You don't see any large statue pieces.
All right. Any constructs or other mechanical beings?
You can give me perception. Scan the room a little bit more intently. See if you notice anything.
Oh, actually, my perception's not bad. All right, we're retiring this one. This dice has been naughty today. Where's another d20? That is a 17.
17. You don't notice any other automatons, but standing over by some ceramic artwork, you recognize one of the people that Thorn had mentioned was talking about providing distraction for the heist. They are maybe about 6 feet tall, slender. He's got long blonde hair pulled into a ponytail, bright green eyes. He's wearing purples and grays and blacks, kind of dinnerware, like finery attire. And he seems to just be standing there patiently waiting. Every now and then he kind of looks up into the ceiling as if expecting something, and then goes back to just kind of casually pretending to look at the artwork near them.
All right. This is not a direct question for you, Ford. This is because I'm aware you can't hear me, but the person that he's describing, was he going to be the one, as far as we know, that was actually going to perform the theft, or is he more or less just kind of?
They're supposed to perform the distraction. He described the one in the vest casting darkness, and the other one casting thaumaturgy to create panic.
Okay. I would like to move. Here's my plan. I'd like to.
There's some tabaxi vibe to this plan, I'm sure.
There is. It's much more violent than a tabaxi plan. But yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. I'd like to move in front of this person that's pretending to admire the artwork and just make some kind of offhand comments about whatever it is that he happens to be, what things that are on the wall or in the case that he's looking at. Like, honestly, I think that piece there rather derivative of another artist, and I want to as soon as I kind of pass by him, I'm a 900-pound machine. I want to just step on one of his feet and just crush it.
Oh.
I love it. I'm going to consider this a grapple contest with advantage because you have the surprise. So yeah, go ahead and give me athletics with advantage as you purposely kind of roll over their foot, or you walk or you roll. I forget. You walk, right?
I walk.
Yeah.
I was originally going to be. That is a 21.
Okay. Acrobatics on my side. That is not going to do it. As you pass by, they get a look on your on their face, like they're wondering what you're talking about, and then this heavy metal kind of clump just kind of sets down on their foot as you do like 5 points of bludgeoning damage, and you hear a very distinct snapping sound. The three of you inside the hall hear this person like start screaming in pain. They fall to the ground holding onto their foot, and they're just screaming in pain as attendants and caretakers of the hall kind of come rushing over. They seem to pick the poor person up, and you could, as they pick the person up, you notice that half of their foot is now limp, like almost as if the entire foot bone had been crushed.
I don't want you to get crumbs all over the couch.
My dear sir, I'm beastly sorry. As the attendants are pulling back, can I try to pick his pocket? That's
Yeah, give me a sleight of hand with those big, cumbersome, meaty grapple hooks of yours.
Oh, that is an 18.
An 18.
Oh.
So by trying, like they're picking him up, and because you're trying to help, you guys watch as a Traumaton accidentally like rips half their clothing off. Like they grip too hard, and like the whole back end of their finery just kind of rips down to their underwear. But he does it in such a way that he definitely removes a small pouch that was on the person's belt, and then kind of like you guys watch as a Traumaton. So sorry, old chum. Here's your clothing back. I was just trying to help you up. And there's tears coming down his eyes. The caretakers start carrying him away, and they're like, "Don't worry, sir. We'll fix that foot right up. Just be a few moments." And they start taking him away and towards like a chamber room door that they disappear through.
Ron claps his hands.
The three of you kind of quickly gather around Trauma, and you're like, "What the fuck? What was going on?" Are you going to tell them, Trauma, or are you going to keep it to yourself?
Our mutual friend sent me a message. I don't know anything about this person, but I did not want them here for the auction.
I don't know what your reasons are, but I'm sure they're good. Ron tries not to look like he enjoyed it too much.
What's going on, Trauma? That created a little bit of a stir.
Well, that individual over there, again, our friend should be into them. I think, can I kind of motion Melody close and lower my voice box as much as possible? Just like, he was supposed to cause a distraction to steal the painting over there. I wanted him out of the way. If he's not here, he can't cause a distraction. I might be able to get closer to it.
The moment Traumaton is filling you guys in on the story, Melody, Karina, and her trio, give me perception checks as you kind of quickly look around as the Traumaton brings you like completely in on what Foreign had talked about.
22.
Okay.
Yeah. 16.
Okay.
18 for me.
18. Eritrea, you see it first. There is another older gentleman wearing a very resplendent jacket over a very nice kind of noble's attire, a cloak of red and yellow draped off of his shoulders. He's got like a Cossack style hat on his head, this huge fur hat, and he's got this look of panic on his face. He doesn't notice you staring at him, but he's panicked, like looking at the door that his friend was taken through. He's looking up at the skyline of the ceiling, and you could tell he's beginning to kind of like have that oh shit moment.
Can I cast Hold Person?
Absolutely. Roll for your hit point pool, if you would, please. Oh no, that's sleep. Hold Person's a save, right? Wisdom save?
14 wisdom save.
Yeah, I always get that's a natural one.
Ooh.
You guys watch Karina just goes like that very subtly, and in amongst some of the plants and topiary that are inside the hall, this person just suddenly freezes with that panic look on their face.
I walk over to them, slowly smiling, clapping to myself.
His eyes kind of watching you get closer. What are the others doing at this point?
Should we tell Rosala? It's her party. If there's something going on, should we tell her?
Maybe let's find out who these people are first.
Yes, I'm going to pretend that I see this man. It looks like he's kind of in a state of shock, and I'm going to act as kind of a medic and go, it looks like this man needs some help. Looks like this man needs help.
Yeah. Give him a performance check as you and Trauma kind of like pick him up, in between the two of you and start assuming that he's about to faint.
18.
Nice. Melody, as you look around with your perception check previously, you see that you couldn't see it from the front, but from the sides you can see it. These little stairwell chambers that take you up to these little interior verandas or balconies that look inward on the house. They seem like maybe like where they would put artwork on display. And you quickly kind of have Eritrea and a Traumaton carry this person towards one of those stairwells. Karina and you kind of guiding their way. And you guys, the four of you, make your way up to one of these little interior balconies. You kind of draw the curtains and you set them down. How long does hold person last for? A minute?
A minute, yeah. So we have some rope or something.
I can cast Charm Person on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
wisdom save?
Wisdom save of 14.
That would be a 3.
I
I rolled a 1 and a 3.
You roll like me.
Incredible.
Yeah, I know, right? So as the four of you get this guy tucked to the interior of the balcony, and out of earshot and crowd shot, Ford, give me another perception check with advantage. I'll lower the DC because I forgot to do that last time because you're looking through the scope of your rifle.
Yeah.
And
I also know that I'm looking for the roof now. Like I'm scanning the roof.
Correct. Now you're focused on the roof.
Like,
yeah.
Knowing that there's people trying to break in up there. Oh, that's better. 17 and a 19. So that's with my perception, that's a 25.
25. As you're looking through the scope and you're panning the domes, you can see 6 silhouettes on the roof. You could see like most of them crowded around one of the crystal domes, but the magnification of your scope is pretty good, so you can see these figures. You can't see their faces, but you can see the silhouettes of their forms. Give me a oh shit, you're Fae. You immediately see 2 people with satyr horns.
Oh,
You see 2 other small pixie-like individuals. You could see a centaur that is just burdened with all this rope on his body. And then the 6th person you can't really make out. They're very slender. They seem to have perpetual smoke coursing around their body, so it's almost like blurring or distorting their silhouette. And you're having a hard time seeing who that person is.
Okay, I'm going to...
Because you've already burnt your token for
Yep.
trauma.
I
You
do
burnt
have
your
one.
token.
Not trauma, but for the... Well, trauma is, as long as I'm talking to him, it just stays, it's active unless I use the...
But he can never respond to you. Right?
Yeah, he can't
That's the
respond.
thing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the limit.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just a one-way conversation. The other person inside has the
other token. Yeah.
And I haven't activated it yet. So I'm gonna like 2 actions. I want to With the other token, I want to just speak to it and say, call it off. The game's up. We know what's about to go down. And that's just the voice they're going to hear in their head, like the discombobulated voice of someone like talking to them. And then I want to activate Zephyr Strike and fire at the dome that they're surrounding.
Got you. Yeah, go ahead and take the shot as you invoke the
Strike,
token. There's a moment for the four of you on the inside on the balcony in the little private area that the guy's eyes go really wide, like even more fearful than the fact that he's. But as soon as you charm him, Melody, his face gets that dopey look. The whole person kind of fades, and he just kind of leans against the Traumaton like he's his best friend. And hey, guys, everything okay? I mean,
hey,
see you guys in so long. How are you?
Really fast, because I think something maybe bad is about to happen. We want to help you out.
You know, it's a strange person talking in my head just now. It's pretty weird.
Oh my God,
does that happen to you?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, it feels like it's probably a god or something. What was the plan? And can you tell people to call it off?
Oh, the plan. Yeah, you must be in on it then if you're asking, right?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, me and my companion were supposed to create a distraction. He was supposed to cast darkness on where the painting is. Mm-hmm. I was supposed to cast thaumaturgy because I'm a pretty decent wizard, which was going to create panic. And then our satyr friends were going to break through the crystal glass and drop in and steal the painting and take off with it. Yeah.
Who are you guys stealing
you
for?
Look a lot like my other friend. I think her name, Ariana, is her name. Yeah. She's kind of the whole kingpin of this theft. Yeah. She's paid us quite a bit of money. Her and her satyr friend. I can't remember his name, but yeah. It's at that moment. Foreign, what'd you get on the roll?
I didn't roll yet, so it's I got advantage on it with Zephyr Strike. So
correct.
Glad I got advantage on it because that's 18 plus 5, so that's a 23.
Okay. The rifle goes off, cracks. The streak of the shot goes coursing through the air, and it shatters the dome that the figures were kind of leaning on and beginning to work on the crystal dome. And it shatters the entire dome. It falls inward. You guys on the inside of the balcony hear this huge crashing noise of glass and crystal shatter outside in the main hall. You begin to hear people scream and yell with fear. And then you hear this raining of glass and people beginning to panic and run. You can hear footfalls. You kind of throw open the curtain to see what's going on. The illusion has been dispelled. The center dome is gone, just collapsed in on itself. And you can see these figures falling through the air. One of the figures is this massive centaur that just kind of lands right on top of the painting, kind of bounces with all 6 enforcers turning inward, and the centaur just in piecemeal, just turns into pieces of his body that splats all over the place. And you could see 5 other figures hanging from ropes in either upside down position. And Melody, as you look up, you could see your sister's face. She's looped around a rope. She had fallen inward. It's tangled around her leg and around her ankle. And she's just kind of bouncing there. The two of you see each other. And it's an exchange of she is as angry as could be as the plan didn't kick off right. And she notices the shocked look on your face. The 6 enforcers, kind of recovering themselves, begin to kind of shift the corpse of the centaur away from the painting. It's at that moment you begin to hear crackles of energy. You watch as there's a massive arcane explosion that bubbles up. And it bubbles outwards from where the painting had fallen and been landed on by the centaur. I need everybody in the hall, so not you, Foreign, but everybody in the hall to give me dex saves, if you would, please.
I blew something else up?
Not exactly. Not exactly.
You said dex save?
Dex save.
I got a 7.
7, 11. Trauma, what'd you get?
Oh, I'm sorry. Come on, bud. Let's see. Oh God, that sucks. That is a crit fail.
Okay. 3 fails. What'd you get, Karina?
5.
5.
Oh no!
Was it 5? Yes, it was 5.
Yeah. So as this bubble of energy begins to expand, Melody, you're like, oh, just close the curtain. You close the curtain just as the edge of the energy kind of like slams into the balcony. And you can watch as suddenly yourselves, including everybody in the hall, are all in 0 gravity. And you guys are free floating in 0 gravity. You can see your sister and the others and her companion, Satyr, and some of the others kind of floating. You can see Rosla just like floating in 0 gravity as this arcane bubble is kind of like bursting outward. You watch as the animated musical devices are kind of floating. Tables are floating. People are floating kind of up in the air. And then you watch as the bubble retracts back down towards where the others were surrounding the painting. It's that moment the 4 of you drop to the ground as each of you take 8 points of bludgeoning damage from falling down onto the ground. As you watch, suddenly there's a black gravity well in the middle of the floor. It's now pulling things towards it. And you watch as the 6 enforcers get pulled into it. And then another pulse of flat energy that just kind of swirls for a moment. And you watch as this like draconic hand. And then another one. And you watch as this dragon head kind of push its way through the gravity well. You can see horns and scales, but they're all crystallized. You can see that their scales are glass and crystal rock. Their horns are these diamond like looking shaped horns. You watch as its wings kind of collapse onto its back as it pulls itself out, and it just lets out this guttural like roar. And then you watch as a gout of crystal shards come spraying out of its mouth as it just shreds the first group of people it sees. The crystal in its breath weapon slicing through people like they're made of paper and linen. Dozens of people just drop dead to the ground. And this dragon just like lets out this huge roar into the crowds. The crowds start panicking. You watch as your sister's frantically pulling herself up the rope to get out. Her companions are doing the same. This creature of the Fae begins to look around and pull itself into the material plane for the first time in 10 years since its collapse. And that's where we're going to finish tonight.
Hey.
Perfect spot to finish.
Did I do that?
So I rolled a 1 for the group save. So the ones that were working on the dome to infiltrate it, they rolled a 1. So it was a catastrophic failure for them when they collapsed inward and fell down. I then had to pick one of them to take the brunt of the fall. And I'm like, you know what? There's no way I'm going to roll 2 1s in a row. And I said, you know what? I'm going to roll another 20. If he gets a 1, he's going to land on the painting and rupture the gateway. I rolled another fucking 1. I rolled 2 1s in a row after Thorn took that shot. That's how crazy that shit was. Nuts. Hey, did you guys level up last session? Are we level?
Yes,
what level are we?
Yeah, we're 3 now.
Yeah, we're level 3 now. Oh, level 3 taking on a dragon. We get to really test those rules now, don't we?
Is running away an option in those games? Are we allowed?
Absolutely running away is an option. Especially with the 4 action point system, because you can run 120 feet during your turn if you wanted to. So
Oh, good. So I could get away fast and far. Nice.
All right, Brianna.
all right, everybody, hang out. We'll chat about the schedule because I've got some updates to the schedule. Everybody else, we will thank you for coming out. As always, our number one fan, Emerald Titans, was hanging out with us all night and watching us. Thank you for that. We actually had quite a few people coming and going and watching us tonight. It was kind of fun. But be safe, be kind, and we will see you all next Sunday. Good night, everybody. Oh, yeah, and don't forget, play a game. Because playing games is important. It's also a great way to distract you while I'm doing the outro. Just saying.